Albert AWOL, the voice of the jungle, broadcasting on the DVC to all points unknown. If you're within the sound of my voice, you're listening to Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Hello and welcome home. Thank you for joining us on episode 183 of Welcome Home, a Disney Parks and Vacation Club podcast. I'm Tom. I'm here with Trevor and Damon. How's it going, guys?
Hey.
Hello.
I'm going to see you this week, aren't I, Tom?
You're what?
I'm going to see you this week, aren't I?
Are you seeing me this week?
I'm going to be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Oh, really? Okay, well, we got to make some plans then. I didn't realize that I forgot. Oh, because you're here for the Chelsea game, right? Is that this weekend?
No, that's Wednesday. So I'm actually not even going to that.
Oh, you're not? Okay.
Well, no. So, again, as all teenage kids are, so what happened was when we first got the tickets, my son was telling his friends to also get tickets because they said they want to get tickets and go. And I said, why don't we just get 3 tickets just in case? And what happened is that none of them got tickets as per usual. And I had told my son, I was like, listen. I said, either me or your mother will drive you. Why don't you ask a friend rather than going with us, alone? So I am actually not going. My wife will drive him and his friend to that game on Wednesday to Charlotte. And then she's got to come home from Charlotte. And then the next day we leave to go back to Charlotte because my middle one's swimming there for 3 days in States. So, yeah. So, even though they'll be there Wednesday, I'll be there Thursday, Friday, Saturday.
Okay. Well, we'll have to figure something out. Maybe we can
Optimus Hall.
Yeah,
we'll
have to go to
place I go to now.
Well, I know, I know some listeners keep looking for us there. So
meet up at Optimus Hall. Is that what's happening now?
What's that?
Is a meet up at Optimus Hall what happening?
Yeah,
now?
that's what it is. Yeah, I mean, It's a perfect kind of place for a meetup because it's like very open space. Like there's a lot of big tables around. Anybody can get whatever food they want.
Outside.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, makes sense.
Yeah. So it's a good setup for meetups, especially like informal meetups. So
yeah, we'll see who's around. Maybe Chris is around.
Yeah, maybe Chris will be around. I know there were a couple other folks too in Charlotte that wanted to meet up with us too. So we'll figure something out. We'll put the word out. Do we want to talk about our shirt at all, or we want to keep that under wraps for now?
No, I don't think. I'm of the opinion we shouldn't give anything to people other than the little tidbits that Damon's posted on the Discord, because
there you go.
I think people need to wait for this one. I think it's come together really well. Yeah, this has come together really good. Yeah.
This one is. I mean, I don't want to say I like this one more than the Haunted River Country one because I think the Haunted River Country one has like different qualities to it. It's just different. I feel like, right?
The Haunted River Country one is just classic, right? Like it's just classic because of what it is. This one's definitely really good as well, but different.
Different. I would agree. Yeah.
Yeah.
We're excited about it though.
Let's see what else is going on. I don't know. My son has his new song coming out today, I guess, because we'll release tomorrow because we record on Sunday, release Monday. So I'll post a link for that if people could go listen, make him happy. And then I just read an article before I get on that has really just gotten in my head about how Grogu is really just a ripoff of Gizmo. And the guy that made Gremlins is kind of upset about it. Maybe is it
what?
Well, and then I thought about it, and I was like, "Dude, Grogu, it really is a ripoff."
I mean, he does look like him,
but he looks exactly like him.
Yeah.
Yoda is a ripoff of Gizmo. Well, no, because Gizmo
came after, right?
Yoda, right?
So yeah, but the thing is, the difference between Yoda and Gizmo is far different, just in general, than it's the size, it's everything. Like it's a picture of them side by side, and I'm just like, yeah, I could kind of see that.
Yeah, now that I'm seeing this article. I mean, I can see it, but I mean, it's not exact. But I mean, the big ears.
It's pretty close, though, man. It's pretty close.
But I mean, also though, what would you make a young Yoda look like, though? Right? I mean, you know what I mean, though. Like,
all right, I'm gonna say the other thing too is, okay, Gremlins. What have you done with Gremlins in the last 20 plus years?
Yeah,
there's a huge animated series coming out to HBO Max.
That's true. There is something new coming out.
That again, didn't even know that was a thing. But I guess that's kind of,
Dude, they're the exact same size too. Like, no, I saw it and I was like, oh, I kind of feel that. I kind of feel that.
I don't know, man. I get it, but I
Look
also
at the
just
mouth.
like,
But look at the mouth, though.
yeah, but I look at Yoda though, and it's like, okay, if you're gonna make a baby version of Yoda, what's it gonna look like? And it looks like Grogu. So like, I don't know
like
how
a
else to
hairless
differentiate
Gizmo.
it. Yeah.
I don't know, man. I don't know.
Like, I get it. I get what you're saying. Like, I don't think it's completely wrong. It's, I mean, the giant ears, the big eyes, the mouth.
I think it's
it's
size,
similar.
though, too.
Size, sure. But
And
again,
so that's
small,
the Gremlins director.
yeah.
Was the one saying that Baby Yoda was copied from Gizmo, though. Mogwai.
Yeah. I mean, sorry, ideas will always overlap.
yeah, that's true.
It's the problem. Like, I don't know. See, it seems like a weird hill to die on, in my opinion.
A little bit, yeah. A little bit, yeah.
What's also how they communicate. Oh, my goodness, I'm reading this article. It's just tough. Oof.
Is it I mean, I get what you're saying. It's just, I'm also trying to figure out how you make a young Yoda and not have
I think the problem is, I think that the size is what's tough, and the mouth area, I think, is what's
Sure.
really beating me. But I think it's the size, because they're both pretty much the same size in comparison to human adults, and that's what's kind of, I don't know.
Yeah, no, I don't. I get what you're saying. I still don't really understand the Gremlin rules. Like,
What do you mean?
well, I feel like don't feed it after midnight is very broad, right? Like, what does after midnight mean? It's always after midnight if you don't have like an end time for that, right?
So what if it was you just don't feed? There's like some sort of cycle in their body, right? That they have to be food free for X amount of hours.
Well, that's
or
what I'm
something
saying.
like
I want to
that.
know that rule. Like, I feel like just saying after midnight is very broad. Like,
Yes, somebody explained it, something like that, where it was,
someone explain this.
Not,
Okay.
it's not about like the time, midnight specifically. It's from like sundown to X hours or something.
And it could be something to do with the moon, and that would make it local then.
Here's the question, though: were the Gremlins designed by like Jim Henson? I mean, like where did these come from? Like who made them? Like, because I don't know where the Gremlin came from and where Baby Yoda came from. Did they come from the same place? There's only so many places that make small puppets, right? Like that design and make small puppets like that.
Well, I feel like Disney would have done Baby Yoda. Like, I mean, it would have been under like Lucasfilm, all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, but I mean, did they actually get it? I mean, did Lucasfilm actually build him, or like, I don't know. I'm just asking. I don't really know the answer to this. Yeah. So, yeah, there's no good way to find this. So,
yeah, okay. This goes down a weird rabbit hole about them being an alien species and stuff. Never mind. That wasn't what I was asking.
I was not expecting to talk about Gremlins today, but that's a good aside here, I guess, right? I guess a tangent, as we would usually say, but yeah, I don't know. I'm just wondering that, because I feel like most of the stuff comes through like a couple places that make these creature things,
Yeah, it's got to be a very small community.
Yeah, and there's been some of those shows too. I love those shows. They only had a few seasons. There was the Jim Henson show, right, where they created stuff. But then there was that other one, the makeup one, which that ran a few seasons. That was good too.
Mm-hmm.
But the puppet one was really good. But I think it was only one season.
According to the internet, it was the puppet was designed by Legacy Effects. That's not one I've ever heard of, but who knows?
They've
anyway,
probably been absorbed by another larger entity at this point.
Yeah, probably. But anyway, so I mean, they've done a lot of. It looks like they've done a lot of different stuff. They've done like Jurassic Park and Iron Man's and Avatars and Avengers, and so they're obviously a big company that does this kind of stuff. So anyway, Should we start doing some questions?
Yeah, let's do some questions now that we went down. Yeah, I did not expect
a weird
that
rabbit hole. Yeah.
conversation to go that way.
I didn't even see that article until Damon said something about it. So, all right. So, Kent by email said, if you could eat and drink only one color of food for a day at Disney World, what color would you pick? I mean, is it just the outside color?
This one. I just thought about this one for a while, and this was tough.
It's tough, yeah.
Because I got a drink too. I felt like, and then chicken, I guess cooked chicken is white. I was gonna go with white.
See, I was gonna say, what if you went like brown? Because brown's got like a wide range. I could have like chicken fingers, right? There's only the outside of the food, and I could also drink like soda if I wanted to, right? Like, but white. Yeah. See, like even you couldn't drink
chicken's
water.
White. No.
Yeah, but I'm talking about the outside of the food, though. Like,
yeah, I don't think that could. It's got to be the whole food. I feel like.
Yeah, but how many foods can you eat that are like the same color all the way throughout? Like,
there's the challenge.
Chicken.
Chicken. Yeah. Unless it's in a chicken finger on the outside, it's brown.
No, then
it doesn't count. You can't eat it.
You just get grilled chicken breast. That's it.
Well, you can get white sauce on it.
You could do that, yeah. but then that's just covering it up, though.
But that's okay. That's all white. That's okay as long as everything of that food is the same color. I'm drinking milk and eating chicken, man.
Would the gray stuff count for you, or is that's
not white?
From white, okay.
I mean, if I want to eat gray stuff, then I can eat overcooked meat, I guess. I don't know.
But then all you're going to eat all day is chicken?
Why not? It says this is what you got to do.
Well, you just got to have plain chicken, though. Then
why? I can have a sauce on it. It just has to be white.
But then what's the difference between that and having a chicken finger then?
Because it's brown. White equals white. Brown does not equal white.
No, but what I'm saying is if you're putting a sauce on it, you're doing the same thing as the breading on
the sauce finger. Is the same color.
Yeah.
If you want to have chicken fingers, the inside has to be brown. And then the outside can be brown. And your sauce can be brown. That would be fine.
Everything's got to be brown. Okay.
It's all got to be brown.
All right.
I don't know what other color you pick, though.
I'd go green.
You could go green. You're doing vegetables, and what are you drinking, though?
There's some smoothies and like matcha and stuff that I would drink.
Oh, matcha. You can go matcha, yeah. Green was my second choice.
For me, yeah.
You could do red and do like hot dogs and
no.
Because I feel like I can also have milkshakes all day too.
Yeah, you could.
I could have vanilla ice cream. Yeah, I got a lot of options there.
Red's a very dangerous color because then you're into like buffalo sauce and stuff.
Yeah, well, that's true.
You get
and what are you drinking? Strawberry soda? I guess you drink Fanta. They have strawberry Fanta.
Yeah, strawberry Fanta. Yeah. Drink some red Powerade. You could drink some red Powerade. They sell that in the park. Usually.
I could drink white Powerade though.
You could, but I feel like they usually only have like red and blue in the parks.
It could be. They're
usually pretty limited on their Powerade.
The problem with red is it's just this thinking about the food dye just kind of turns me off a little bit.
I get that.
Yeah.
Go, Trevor. What were you going to
say? Yeah, I was going to say, I think red and blue are the prominent colors for Powerade throughout the park.
At least in the parks. But what are you eating that's blue? Isn't there like
not a lot of blue options?
But isn't there Star Wars blue options? Don't they have blue food over there?
They have
Pandora or somewhere?
Yeah, Pandora they have the blue cake and the blue milk. You have blue milk at Star Wars and then that blue cheesecake over at Pandora.
Yeah, which is good.
Blue's a tough one.
That's good.
Yeah, you're buying a lot of candy and picking through it.
You're just I just don't know what you're proteining.
You're not
with blue.
Yeah, there's no protein there. Yeah. Well, most proteins are going to either be red or whitish, right? So you're pretty much stuck with that.
Yeah.
So yeah, I understand your.
You can go tofu.
Ugh, why would I do that?
I'm just saying.
No.
Nothing wrong with tofu.
Could do rice. I got potatoes. Like I guess potatoes. French fries shouldn't count, but potatoes might, right?
I mean, do French fries count? I don't know.
Potatoes though usually get cooked. Like they're usually yellow. Like you don't get white potatoes, right?
That's true. They're not like well.
Yeah, they are
mostly white. Yeah, but then once you fry them, they're like yellowish, though. You know.
Yeah, mashed potato.
Yeah, baked potato, mashed potato. Yeah, I still think I'm sticking with white because mashed potato is definitely a W with chicken. Right now, I got a chicken with a white sauce and mashed potatoes. Like I think I'm all right.
You're in good shape.
White Powerade or milk. I mean, I'm good.
White's a good option, man.
Or vanilla shakes. Yeah,
milk's gonna be tough in that heat, though, man. Milk's gonna be tough.
I go shakes. I think I go vanilla shakes. I feel like.
Yeah, you're gonna end up feeling like milk was a poor choice as it gets to be 95 degrees.
Yeah, I mean, I think I just have to find that white Powerade. It's got to exist somewhere there.
I'm sure it does somewhere. Well, I mean, it doesn't say you can't bring it in, right? You could bring it with you, I guess.
Just bring white Powerades.
The ice. What is the flavor? It's like ice blue or something. No, I can't remember.
It's like it's like
Gatorade has it too. But
some weird flavor, yeah.
But it's all Powerade in the park, so
yeah. I have to bring in Gatorade.
Yeah. What a weird question, but I like it.
I love that question.
It's a great one. All right, so who wants to read Katie's?
All right, so Katie says, "Okay, I'm still 2 episodes behind, and that's okay, Katie. It's fine.
It's really not, but go ahead.
I mean, what kind of listener? She's 2 episodes behind. I mean, come on now. She was at the park. She has this excuse, I think.
That's true.
We'll let it slide. So she says, who's your favorite character that you don't typically see in the parks? For example, Lewis from Meet the Robinsons.
It's a tough question.
I mean, it's got to be somebody that they have, though.
It kind of feels like it's got to be somebody that they have that is just rare. Right? Because, like, you would say probably Gravity Falls characters, but they don't have that, right?
Yeah, I'm going to have to go DuckTales people then. Say Launchpad.
I would say Max.
Max. Wow.
Like Goofy's son, Max? Yeah.
Yeah, that's a random one.
Very often. Yeah.
That's true. Yeah, I can't think of one off the top of my head. I'm like blanking right now. I probably should have thought about this ahead of time. I kind of agree with you though. Like Launchpad's a good one, Damon. Like there's like anything from DuckTales or
isn't there gummy bears though? I feel like there's gummy bears.
And I thought there was at one point.
Yeah, I would go gummy bears then. There we go.
Gummy bears, really?
Yeah, I mean, I'm gonna go look it up, but I feel like there was.
I just googled rare Disney parks characters. Look at that. There's a lot of. Wait, how is Maleficent rare? I feel like I see Maleficent all the time. I don't like this list already. This is already a bad list. What about Good.
Yeah, you don't see Maleficent. You see the Queen a lot. You don't see Maleficent.
No, I mean, I feel like you do those sometimes. I mean, I don't know, but
so they say that the gummy bears were in the parks during the Disney Afternoon when that was big.
Okay, so it's been a while.
And one attraction Zummy was the primary part. One attraction Zummy was a primary part of was Mickey's magical TV show at Mickey's Starland in Walt Disney World. Him and Gruffy would appear in the show as Zummy would perform magic. Yeah, I'm going for the gummy bears then. If someone can dig up those costumes.
Can I say?
I got her. Hold on.
Is Darkwing Duck allowable? Can I say that one? I feel like that's a fairly rare one, right? Or even Genie. How about the Genie? You never see the Genie, I feel like.
Yeah, Darkwing's actually more common now, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
I know they do him at some of the Halloween. I think they do him at some of the Halloween events these days.
He started showing up more in the last couple of years with like Moonlight Magic and stuff. I remembered seeing more and more pictures of Darkwing.
Okay. Yeah. Well, this is an interesting question.
I sent a link in the Facebook.
Yeah, that's terribly scary.
Yep.
What's terribly scary?
Trevor does not want to be in our chat in Zencaster. He's in Facebook, so you got to go look over there. But Tommy Gummy is terrible. Yeah. The costume looks very, very uncomfortable.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Yeah. Wow. This is disturbing.
The only one that looks actually halfway decent is Grammy.
Yeah.
Grammy looks okay, but she doesn't look like the right color.
You know what the problem is? They look too close to like Freddy Fazbear.
I don't even know who that is.
Yeah, who is that?
Five Nights at Freddy's. It was.
Oh, yeah, okay.
Yeah. Where it's like the animatronics.
Oh, yeah.
They've got like the dead eye stare and they're.
I know what you're talking about.
Scary. Yeah.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah.
Wow. Okay. This is also an interesting question. I feel like, some of those, I always like seeing like the Genie and like, one you don't really see is she mentioned Lewis from Meet the Robinsons, the bad guy from that, whose name is escaping me at the moment. What was that guy's name? Because he's creepy.
Bowler hat guy.
Yeah, but he has later you find out,
he was his roommate. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm blanking on his actual name, but that guy, I feel like you never see in the parks. So, okay. So, do we want to do Jason's question now? I can read it.
Yeah, go for it.
Jason says, I've heard that when it comes to the parks, the top priority is new projects, as after Tron, there's nothing in the pipeline at WDW. I don't think that's true. I mean, they've announced a bunch of stuff that they put on hold, so there's definitely stuff in the pipeline that they just need to get done. But Jason says, what park do you think is in most need of new attractions, and why is it Animal Kingdom? I mean, he's not wrong. I mean, Animal Kingdom could use some more stuff.
It needs some love in Dino Land, I think.
Yeah. I mean, although it's funny because I was thinking to myself, we were talking about this because, obviously we're doing trip planning right now, right? So we were kind of going over what rides we're going to do in each park. And my wife and I were talking about Animal Kingdoms, and I was like, there's really not a lot for my daughter to do in Animal Kingdom. I mean, besides the animal part stuff, but I mean, like ride wise, right? Like she's not going on Dinosaur because she's going to be, traumatized for the rest of her life if she goes on Dinosaur. I don't think she'll be tall enough to go on Flight of Passage. So we could do like Navi River Journey, Kilimanjaro Safaris, and the shows. And like, that's really it. Like
you're overlooking the Boneyard in Dino Land.
Yes. So that's what I was just going to mention. That is a thing I've never been to, right? Like we've never had a reason to go over there. And now it's like, that's going to be a new thing for us at Disney that we've never done before because we've never gone over there. But yes, I'm not overlooking that because we're definitely going to do that. We're excited for that. And we're excited to do the shows with her and stuff like that too. And she loves animals. So we'll just, we like all the walking trails and seeing all the animals and stuff like that. So that's totally fine. Like we're fine with the amount of attractions, but there definitely could be some new things that they could put in. And, I mean, I would also say even Epcot too, but I mean, Epcot, they're building stuff now. I mean, whether, they're still working on stuff now, they're not building any rides at the moment. Right. I think they're done with rides, but, they announced a couple things that they were going to do and they just haven't done yet. So we're just going to have to wait for that. I mean, I don't think it's fair to say that they have nothing in the pipeline. They announced a whole bunch of stuff that they put on pause. Right. So there's stuff there. They just got to get the money. Well, allocate the money to build it. But I'm sure they're going to announce a bunch of new stuff at D23. I'm sure there's going to be a whole bunch of stuff we haven't heard of that's going to be announced then.
Oh, yes. I agree. I guess.
When is D23?
It's in September.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. I don't know the exact date off the top of my head, but it's sometime in September. It's the 9th of September.
Why are you not going, Tom? I feel like you should go.
Because it's in Anaheim.
I'll take one for the team, man. I feel like a D23 welcome home appearance is...
Yeah. Actually,
technically,
no, wait.
I'm the closest one.
You are the closest
That's
one.
true.
Yeah.
That's true.
Yeah. That's a bit of a hard sell, though.
Yeah, we should just get one of our California listeners to be like our correspondent or something. But yeah, so it's already pretty much sold out too for Friday and Saturday. So although there's still some tickets Sunday, but I'm guessing the Parks panel I think is on Saturday. I don't remember. I saw the schedule for this, but I don't know off the top of my head. So yeah, so it's early September. So we're gonna know things pretty soon here.
Yeah, I think the next thing, or they've already been talking about it, is the Splash Mountain redo, and I get the feeling that, yeah, like you said, there's a lot of like pending projects that are going to be cleaned up, but yeah, I think we are really overdue for hearing what's next.
Yeah,
because the cleanup is nice that's going to happen over the next couple of years, and we're going to get some of the things that they've promised us for a while and, obviously couldn't commit to. But, yeah, I seriously hope though that, back to Jason's question, that they do announce something for Animal Kingdom. And yeah, like I feel because of the fact that they took out stuff in Dino Land and it's not, it needs some love. Like they need to, I think they need to rethink that whole area, kind of like they did with Pixar Pier in California. It's getting dated, and there's nothing wrong with things getting dated, but it's when it doesn't draw people in anymore, right? Like when it becomes a whole section of the park, sorry, Dinosaur, I like Dinosaur, but it's no Indiana Jones for those that know. And I just think that whole section of the park just needs something. It needs a reason for people to go back there, because otherwise you have the rest of the park that will fill up and you'll have a whole section that's empty, which, sounds great, but I think it's better to have more reasons for people to hit that side of the park too.
Yeah, and I mean, they do have a little bit of space, that they can work with. I mean, if they tear down that whole Dino Land area, it's a large place, right? There's a lot of space there, so they could build a whole new thing there. There's a lot of space between Finding Nemo and between Dinosaur, because Dinosaur is kind of off to the side, like in its own little area. So, there's a lot they could do there if they just redo that whole area, and there's a lot of space. But I don't know. We're gonna have to see what happens. But I mean, you also have to remember too, like, right? They announced the Mary Poppins thing for Epcot, and then that got put on pause, right? They announced the Spaceship Earth redo, that got put on pause. The Play Pavilion was announced years ago now, and we haven't heard a thing about that. Although I did just see an article about a permit being filed for construction to start. So I don't know if they've been. That's one of those things we can't really see if they're doing any work on it, because it's all inside, right? So have no idea. They could have been working on it this whole time, but we have no idea. So, like, there's a lot of outstanding Epcot stuff that, and then there was also the rumored, new pavilion at Epcot too. And we thought that was going to get announced a couple of years ago, and it didn't. So there's a lot of stuff just for Epcot. I mean, we haven't really heard anything about Animal Kingdom, but, and then we're going to talk about some Disneyland rumors too, that are, coming out here before D23 that are interesting. But yeah, I don't know. I think we are going to get some a good view of what's coming next.
Sorry, I got fixated when I mentioned the Boneyard. You know what they need to do?
What do they need to do with the Boneyard?
They need to. So the Boneyard's a kids' playground. Yeah, they need to do an adult version of that. Like because the thing is there's a couple of playground like areas in different Disney parks, and it's always, targeted at younger kids, and that's fine. Sure, yeah. Like absolutely they should have something like that. But like, I'm thinking of, I don't know if you guys have ever heard of, I think it's in St. Louis. There it's called like City Museum, and it's a big, like, it's a bunch of, or it's a playground is what it is, but they actually it's for adults, and like I guess on like Saturday nights they sell alcohol and stuff there, which I know sounds like a bad idea, playground and alcohol and all that. It
does sound like a recipe for disaster. Yeah.
It does a little bit, but I think I like the idea of, giving, like, it's not that I want to go play on a playground all the time, but I will fully admit, even as a grown adult, sometimes I see some of the, they've got like cool slides and stuff in some of these playgrounds, and I'm like, I bet that would be fun, but if I don't have a young kid or a reason to be in there, you just look a little weird going down, the slide by yourself or whatever, right? So,
yeah, a little bit. Yeah.
So I think, maybe use some of that space for something for adults to enjoy.
Yeah, I get that.
Kids and adults, obviously, but not a specific, like, here's a kid's playground kind of.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I gotcha. Yeah. Anyway. I mean, listen, it'll be interesting to hear what comes out at D23. It's interesting. We're not really hearing a lot of rumors about Disney World, mostly Disneyland. But I'll be interested to see what actually happens, and of course, we'll do like a full recap of D23 and everything that comes out from there. So. All right. So Christy says, if you could have a small role on any Disney show or movie, or have your likeness in any Disney animation, what would it be and why? I think we know the answer to this for at least a couple of you. I just assume you both would pick Gravity Falls, but that's,
well,
or DuckTales, I guess, for Damon.
I mean, they're both over though.
Yeah.
Can't be something that's over.
That's the thing is, those have both been over for a while now. So I mean, current Disney shows.
Yeah, I think it's got to be something that's current. I'm Big City Greens 100%.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a good one. That's a good pick, actually.
I'd like to be in one of the Marvel shows as like a henchman. Like, if you watch Hawkeye and you saw the bad guys on Hawkeye, which were they were movers and they were fat guys in tracksuits, perfect role for me.
Right. See, I would want to be in the background of, either a Marvel or a Star Wars show. But you know how every once in a while you get those extras that, just they do something and it catches people, like, and you end up seeing like YouTube videos of there's like an extra that does something in the background. They're like, what?
Oh,
What are they doing? I want to be that person. I just want to be in the background. I just want to be in the background. I want to do something, and it just catches for like a couple of seconds on the show, and that's it. And it makes the final edit, of course.
I mean, I don't even need to have a line as one of the henchmen. Like, I can just, I could just do like one of those like pounding my fist into my hand kind of things. You know what I mean? Like something like a henchman.
Stay in the back with a bat. Just
being
threatening.
Taking practice swings with my bat, getting ready. Yeah, like something like that. And like I'm definitely the first one that goes down too, right? Like the first one that gets beat up by the hero, like 100%, and that's fine. And then I'll try to like come back later, and they'll just do like one of those like where they don't even look at me and hit me things, you know what I mean? Where you're just
like in the corner of the shot and you just fall over.
Yeah. Like they're looking in the opposite direction and they just like, shoot an arrow behind them and hit me. You know what I mean? Like that's the role that I'm wanting right there. So
I'm thinking about it more, and like I feel like it would be cool to be in the background of like Obi-Wan or something like that, like on a set, like not. Like Marvel movies and shows are great, but they're, I like the idea of being in a show that, is supposed to be on another planet or something like that. So right. I would go more towards the Star Wars side on that.
You got Star Wars universe as opposed to Marvel. I get it. That's fair. I mean, that's, preference there. I don't know why I want to be beat up by a superhero, but I mean, I think it'd be kind of cool to be like, like, oh yeah, like, well, I don't want to say Hawkeye beat me up because that wouldn't be cool. It's, it's just like it's got to be somebody cooler than that. But anyway, all the Hawkeye fans are now mad at me. That's fine.
just make sure that you whisper, in your scene, you whisper towards Hawkeye, I loved you in Avengers or something like that.
I actually want to be the guy. What was it? Was it Iron Man 2 where he's like tied up and then and he's like a henchman and then he goes, I don't even want to work here, man. These guys are weird. Like, that's me. It's like I didn't want to be the henchman. I didn't even want to be here.
I just signed up for the benefits. I don't know why I'm here.
Exactly. I don't want to mess with you. So anyway, so
right.
Do you want to read Francisco's?
Yeah. Francisco says you have a $50 limit on food at Epcot or Magic Kingdom for the entire day. One person. You're not allowed to eat prior to going to the park or bring in food aside from water. Can you skip, or you can skip meals if you wish. How are you spending your day? For $50. Ooh.
That's a solid, you can just snack yourself around the world if it's during food and wine. And, 50 is not going to get you that far, but enough to fill you up for the day, I feel like.
For the entire day, I feel like that might go a little lean. I guess I would be forgoing some snacks throughout the day.
Yeah. Because you don't need to pay for drinks, right? You could always drink from the water fountain. I mean, not a lot of people like doing that. I don't mind. I drink from, Trevor, saw, I drank from the water fountain all the time when I was with you.
We were drinking. I had a water bottle with me the whole time too. Yeah. So,
I don't mind water fountains. I don't really care what it tastes like. I don't want to get super dehydrated and pass out. So I've done that. Don't want to be there again. So I have a rule in the parks. Every time I see a water fountain, I drink water. That's how it goes. And usually it's from that water fountain. So, so I would just drink water, all day. And then I would roll around food and wine, but be careful about where I went to food and wine, right? Because there are certain dishes where you get a lot more for your money than others, right?
Absolutely.
So you just have to look, because it's based on the ingredients. Because if you look at in Germany, they have that pasta dish thing that they have that's it's like an au gratin pasta thing, right? With ham and stuff like that, and that's I don't know what it is. I think it's $5-6, whatever, and it's a huge portion. Whereas maybe if you get something seafood, the portion's going to be a lot smaller and not really fill you up, right? So you got to get something that's going to fill you up and it's going to be a big portion or anything in Mexico probably, right? There's a lot of stuff you can do.
Yeah, I was thinking, I mean, the tacos would be an easy one for sure. Lunch and dinner. Actually, even that place near France that we ate at with the arepas.
Oh, the arepas. Yeah, those were good. Yeah.
Yeah, those were good. Those are good breakfast. And I mean, yeah, between that and Mexico, and then, you're right. I think you could just do booths around the world for $50 in a day, and you could get. I feel like you could get at least most of the way through the day. I don't know if you would get all the way to like the evening.
Yeah.
But I guess it depends on when you're leaving the park. Like, are you staying open till close if you're doing this? Because that might be a bit of a different story.
Might be a little tough. Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I could make this work. So, well, now I'm going to have to, now that Food and Wine has started, I can go into the Food and Wine app on my phone and start marking off the stuff I want. So I know, Damon, you were saying last time you went into it, it was still Flower and Garden. So now you can go in and you can do Food and Wine stuff and get yourself ready for your trip.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at it. I mean, like I said, we're still, listen, if this new BA5 goes crazy, I mean, I'm not going. So
gotcha.
We'll see. We'll see when we get there. But yes, I have looked through it a few times app-wise just to kind of see what food I would eat. And there's a fair amount there, even though there's not all of it because of the stupid August 15th booth nonsense.
I saw one of the booths open early, though. I saw one of the booths, I think it was like the wing booth, just was supposed to open in August, but open now. I don't know. Maybe they're going to open some earlier.
What, Brewing?
Yeah, I think it was the wing place open.
Maybe, it doesn't have the 15th. The biggest one that I'm kind of upset about is the noodle exchange. But then I looked at it and was like, there's nothing in there, like, because I would do the udon, but it's got mushrooms, so maybe it's not so bad.
Yeah, so you're not missing out on that one because there's nothing you would eat there anyway.
Yeah, I mean, I'm sure they would make it without mushrooms, maybe. I mean, I don't know. Some of the stuff they will definitely not add certain stuff to, if possible, but you just don't know how it's prepared.
Well, yeah, I guess it depends on like if the mushrooms are added into, if they're like mixed in with the bok choy and stuff, right?
Absolutely. So I think you just have to kind of ask there. I mean, I definitely looked through it. I mean, I just realized it's going to cost a lot of money.
Yeah, it definitely will.
I mean, so for $50, let's just say that you're eating 9 things. I think that's pretty safe.
I think
that's pretty close.
Yeah.
So 9 things, is that really filling me up for the day? Definitely not.
That's what I'm saying, though. It depends on what you get, though. Like if you get stuff that's bigger portions, you might be all right.
But I think it costs more money then.
Yeah,
not necessarily, not always. It just depends. Yeah,
yeah. Some of these things go as high as $10.
Oh yeah,
so you got to be careful what you're actually picking.
I mean, the one taco is $7.50, right? So that's already sticking you down to what?
Two of those is an extra $5.
I mean, yeah. I mean, honestly, you're at 6 of them. That's it. Six tacos, and they're little mini tacos for the whole day. Yeah, that's tough, man. That's tough.
Yeah, you definitely have to be careful, right? Like you'd have to be smart about the way you do it. Like
10 orders of dumplings. That's what I would do.
But like you can get a nice size. Like when I got the mac and cheese when I was there, the mac and cheese was a decent portion size for $5 and $6. So I mean, but to your point, Damon, like if it's easy to take the stuff out, like when I got the cowboy mac and cheese, I asked them to take the pickled peppers off, and since it's just put on the top,
what?
Yeah,
wow,
it was great without it. I actually asked them to take it off, and they said they were out anyway, but that they said they can take them off.
Pickled peppers just sounds so good.
Yeah, I don't know. I just wasn't feeling it. So, what were you going to say, Trevor?
I was just agreeing. Pickled peppers are good.
Yeah. I'm good.
All right.
Let's see. Did I read the last one? You want to read this one?
Yeah, I can do this one. So Jackie says, do you have any strategies in line to keep people from cutting in front of you? We have had problems from rides where they count the number in line and then let that number in. So you're getting regardless of where you are. And we don't have a small family either. There's 8 of us and none are under 5'10". Maybe they just didn't like being behind a big group. Yeah. I mean, I guess.
Got to throw some elbows, you know?
Yeah. I can't.
Yeah, it's tough because, I'm either 0 or 100. There is no in between. It's just, there's no point to be like, strategy wise. I mean, it just almost makes it worse because if you kind of try to stretch out, right, in terms of across the row and then people say something or kind of push back, I just don't care anymore, man. You want to cut, be that person. Don't.
Yeah.
I have no energy for you. Like as you pass, I'll look at the kids, we'll roll our eyes, but it's just not worth the effort anymore, honestly.
I mean, it sounds like she's talking about though, like when you go into like one of those ones where it's like a big room, like a big pre-show room, and there's like a lot of people in there, right? I mean, or I'm confused because I feel like
maybe because you're talking about like Rock and Roller Coaster.
I mean, there's a lot of them that are like, I mean, even Haunted Mansion is kind of like that, right? Where it's like there's a whole bunch of people in one small room, one small,
and everyone kind of wants to get to the front so they can get on the ride faster.
Yeah,
I'm in the same scenario. I just don't care that much.
Yeah,
in the big room. Go ahead, Sergio.
I was gonna say I'm either planning that I'm right by the exit, so I'm the first one out of the room. But if I'm in the middle of the crowd, I'll actually just wait for everyone else to pass, and I'll walk behind everybody else because I just don't want to be stuck for these reasons. Is I don't want people cutting in front of me, and it like kind of like you, Damon. I would rather just let people go in front of me because I'm not in that big of a hurry, or like I said, if I'm if I happen to be at the front, it's like, we'll move to make sure that we're ahead of everybody else so that I don't have to deal with the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, we tend to, especially in the Haunted Mansion, we always go straight for where the door is, right? Because like not everybody knows where the door is, but like you can see where the door is, right? So like we will always try to get towards the door, and I don't consider that cutting. Yeah, I don't really consider that cutting. Like if you're in like a line that's just a static line that doesn't have a big room like that, and people are cutting in front of you, that's a different thing, right?
It depends how you get there. I feel like though, right? Did you push people to get there, or did you just get there?
No,
but I'm saying that I think for the argument's sake, I think that's what you're talking about.
No, I'm never pushing through people, right? Like that's never a thing that we're doing. Like, but if they're telling me to fill in all the spaces in the room and there's a space that's near the door, I mean, I'm going to go fill in all the space of the room, like I'm not trying to cut anybody off. It's just, we're all going to get there eventually, but I would never cut somebody in a line where it's like Big Thunder, right? I feel like you get a lot of times where you have people that are like, that walk past you like, oh, I'm meeting up with my group. And I don't really know how I feel about that, right? Like, I kind of feel like get all in line together or not at all. Or,
it's somebody with their kid, like if they had to take their kid to the bathroom and they're meeting up with their family, I get that. But I've also had like teenagers do that where it's 3 or 4 teenagers and they're like, oh, our party's up there kind of thing. And, it's not that they're just cutting in front of everybody. It's usually like they legitimately meet up with somebody, but yeah, that's still kind of like you, Damon. I look at them and I kind of roll my eyes like, okay, guys, like you couldn't have gotten in line with your friends.
I just don't care enough anymore. And people are too nasty these days, honestly.
Well,
it's not worth the fight.
Yeah, if you confront people, you never know what's going to happen, right? I mean, there was a year or two ago, there was that fight in the test track line because somebody cut, and then there was a fist fight. Like you don't want to mess with people, especially in the heat. People get even crazier in the heat.
And the thing is that is a lose-lose situation.
Yes, that's the problem. It definitely is a lose-lose.
Even if you won the fight, Disney security is kicking you both out anyway.
Yeah, that's totally true.
You're not winning anything by, worst case scenario, I would say, if people want to cut it and if they're being really nasty about it, you point them out to a cast member and say, hey, that person over there is causing a problem. Let the cast members deal with it. But I would never bother getting in anybody's face at this point.
Yeah, I agree with that. All right. Then we have our Dan question of the week. What are your workplace pet peeves? Here's mine: leaving a mess in the break room refrigerator, using the last of a supply and not restocking it when someone is standing right next to a ringing phone without answering it. Those are good. I like those. I mean, not really things that happen in my office. Like I don't really have that. I did have a coworker get their lunch stolen from the fridge the other day, which I was like,
that's
who does
funny.
that? Like who does
hysterical.
that? Yeah, well, the best part is she caught her. Like she was walking in the lunch area, and she just like this woman was just sitting there with her lunch. She wasn't eating it yet, but she just walked up and took it and walked away. Like, just who does that? I think that my biggest pet peeve would be stealing stuff at work, or when there's other desks available and somebody sits right next to me. I don't love that either. Like I feel like it's the men's room urinal rule where you always leave a space if one's available. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like there's, because I'm in an office where it's free for all, right? Like we don't have our own desk. It's whoever gets what
like
desk.
hotel stations. Yeah.
Yeah, which I hate. But there's that. I also hate too, like there's people that just like leave trash around the tables like sometimes, and then nobody comes to clean it up. It's just like if nobody cleans it up, you're just responsible for cleaning it up. It's just that kind of stuff drives me crazy too.
Yeah, I've never understood that behavior. And actually even I initially was thinking about like, the using the last supply, not restocking it. I actually have one worse than that. Is I used to work for a company where I was part of their office services team. So like we were stocking the kitchens and stuff like that. And I remember one day I went and I took up, we would stock tea in the room. So like tea bags. And so I put up a new box of tea bags in one of the lunchrooms. And then like a half an hour later, I got a call that they were out of tea in this lunchroom and that they needed us to restock. And I was like, I just put some up there. I went up there and I looked, somebody took the whole box and took it back to their desk so that they would have their own private stash.
Yeah, that's ridiculous.
And left, everyone else to deal with it. And I was just like, wow.
Seriously?
Like,
yeah.
You can't just, take one or two or, even a couple. Fine, I get that. But like a whole box, like just don't do that.
That's why I like working at home.
Yeah. Then I can take the box, but then I got to pay to replace it. So
exactly. Yeah, exactly. So, all right.
I don't think I've been to an office in like 10 years, man.
Oh man, I'm jealous of that.
Yeah. I don't think you're missing much personally.
No, for sure. All right. So that's all of our questions for this week. Do we want to go ahead and do our ad and then we'll talk about this other stuff?
Yeah. DVC Resale Market, a World of DVC company, is the leader in the DVC resale industry with 13 former Disney Vacation Club guides and 3 former Disney Vacation Club quality assurance managers. If you're thinking of buying DVC, browse the largest selection of DVC resale listings anywhere, with DVC experts on hand 7 days a week to answer your questions. If you're thinking of selling, turn to the friendly professionals at DVC Resale Market, where over 98% of listings sell within 30 days. In 2021, DVC Resale Market helped over 4,400 families join or add on to their memberships. Go to dvcresalemarket.com or call 1-844-DVC-PROS. That's 382-7767. And when you do speak to them, please be sure to let them know that Welcome Home sent you.
So the big news, there was a couple DVC things over this past week. Big news for everybody. DVC has reinstated the 100% point borrowing. So now you can borrow all your points from next year and constantly live in the debt of taking all of your points.
I love
Not having enough points. Yeah.
Just constantly, borrowing all your points from the next year, and then the next year borrowing all your points from the next year. You can do that. I did that when we first started. I mean, every year we just were borrowing from the next year. Like we never had points in that year, until we bought more.
Yeah, I never feel good unless I know I have a bank of points, but that's just me.
No, I get that. I don't do that anymore now that I bought additional contracts. That was just when we started out. I mean, our first contract was 100 points, and there was only so much we could do with 100 points, right? So,
yeah,
we had to borrow a lot, but I know everybody's happy about this. I mean, it is a good thing. It means that the glut of points that they feel like with capacity that things are getting better. So that's good.
Yeah,
good news.
Enough people have used up or enough points have expired past their use year that, Disney can go back to normal now, which, like you said, it's good for everybody because we don't have to, one, we don't have to think about it. And two, that means that availability should stabilize over time now as well.
Well, and it certainly helps that they opened 202 new rooms at Grand Floridian, right? So they added 202 new rooms to capacity. So that helps too, right? So, but yeah, so that's good that that's effective now, right? So if you're hearing us saying this, it's good, right? Like you can go and to borrow all your points if you want to. So I know a lot of people are very excited about this, and definitely will be helpful. But I don't know if there's much else to say about that, right? Like it's just a pretty straightforward thing. But the other thing was a surprise Moonlight Magic announcement, which I know, Damon, you were messaging us about this because it's at Typhoon Lagoon and it's in August. It's when you're there.
Yeah, it is.
And you guys love water parks, right? So
I do. I think that it's definitely. I've never been to one, so I'm kind of excited for that. Like, if it was going to be anywhere, I'd rather it be at a water park than a regular park, to be honest with you.
Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, I mean, we'll try to get in and see how it goes.
Then you can give us your review when you get back.
I could.
So for those that want to know, and this was emailed out to everybody, it was weird that it's kind of last minute. I don't know why.
It seemed kind of last minute, didn't it?
It did. I mean, they just sent it like a week ago for like early August. Well, again, late August, I guess, too. Sorry, Trevor, go ahead.
I was going to say they have done this before with where we've had like a late announcement on Moonlight Magic. And we've talked about this before, is that, the whole point of Moonlight Magic is that it's DVC and Disney parks are two separate entities. Yeah. So I think it's a matter of, DVC is always trying to negotiate things with the parks. And this probably just happened to come up that they were, it was a late agreement and they went, yeah, we can do this. And that's why we're only hearing about it, really only a couple of weeks out, right? Like it's coming up quick. So registration opens at 11 a.m. Eastern on July 22nd, 2022. And the dates are August 9th, 15th, and 23rd. So that's really quick.
And this is at Typhoon Lagoon, we should mention.
Yes.
And so it opens on the 22nd for members with a hotel reservation. So Damon, that will be you. Yeah.
That will be me. I kind of wish it was at Blizzard, to be honest with you, though.
Blizzard is still closed, though, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah. Yeah, I thought they were still doing some renovations there.
Yeah, Blizzard's been closed for like a while. Yeah, but it's still closed. So yeah, maybe they would have it there, but I mean, I feel like the ones in the past they've had at.
I think Typhoon just is a better layout, maybe.
Yeah. I do like Typhoon better than Blizzard Beach. I don't know what it is, but
I like the wave pool. Mm-hmm. And I like the is it Dole? Who sponsors that stuff? Dole? The water slides that are over on the right when you go in.
Like Misadventure Falls and all?
No, that's the new one.
You're talking like Crush and Gusher and all that?
Yeah. They're sponsored by Dole or somebody?
It is, yeah. Because, they're all three of them are named after different fruits.
Yeah. I like that stuff over there, but there's nothing like Summit Plummet. I mean, there is, but at Disney, there's nothing like Summit Plummet. I just happen to like that ride better than all of the other ones. But, again, my wife is not a water park person. So I think that for her, Typhoon Lagoon is a better choice. Because she will do the family raft rides, but that's about it. So I think it makes sense.
You do have Humunga Cowabunga, though, which is not. I know you're right. It's not quite Summit Plummet, but you still have that type of slide at least.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Blizzard Beach has been closed since early January. They do that closure of the water parks during the winter every year to do like a refurb, but it's lasting a lot longer at Blizzard Beach. And I think they said basically that it's an extended closure. So. I think they were hoping to have it up by summer, but I think I remember reading that there were some major issues that they had to fix there. So I don't know.
I remember seeing a while ago they had put out some permits for doing some work there, which people were speculating was it are they tearing it down? I don't think that's the case. I think it's just like you said, there's probably some long-standing issues that they figured, here's our opportunity, let's get this stuff fixed, and maybe they might be doing some retheming too, would be a thought. I heard rumors of possibly bringing in more Frozen type stuff because why not, right?
Well, I remember seeing early June.
Super interesting though. Frozen?
Put Frozen there? Yeah.
Ooh, I mean, I like that idea, but does it bring too many kids to the park? But man, that's a great idea.
Yeah. Yeah, it is. I mean, you could even just put characters there, right? Like you could just have characters and then do some more like stuff. You could do a lot of Olaf stuff, you could right?
Do some, because the thing is that you could definitely do some Frozen stuff, but the theming is of a ski lodge.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know how you theme just. Like, it doesn't fit in the theme if you go Frozen, unless, like you're saying, you just do kind of the characters.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. There's some stuff they could do. But, I mean, I know there's one of those really big cranes there right now, too. So, like, people have been speculating on what exactly they're doing, because there's some big cranes. There were, like Trevor, you said, there were some permits. So they really haven't said anything about it. And it is kind of weird to have one of the water parks closed during the peak, summertime when people want to be at water parks. But yeah, I don't know. But that's cool, Damon. I'm glad you're going to try to go, because I definitely want to hear about it, because I've still yet to be able to get to a Moonlight Magic, even though we were registered for one time. We just couldn't get there.
But none of us have been able to get to a Moonlight Magic so far. So, Damon, it's up to you to break the curse.
Yeah, you have to break the curse, though. That's 100% true. Because you were scheduled for one, right? For your hurricane trip,
I've
weren't
missed
you?
2.
Yeah, you missed 2. Yeah, that's frustrating. So, but so that was a nice surprise. And like, listen, I know a lot of people thought that like when Disney canceled all these, or when DVC canceled all these events, that they were never coming back. Because a lot of people were feeling kind of pessimistic about the perks associated with DVC, and they were like, "Oh, none of this stuff's going to come back." And I mean, I think that has shown to be wrong, because I mean, we a lot of this stuff is coming back, right? A lot of the Moonlight Magic stuff. Now listen, you can definitely be mad about Top of the World going away for non-blue card members, I guess, if you're not a blue card member, but most of these perks are coming back. They're just coming back slower than some of the other things. What were you going to say, Trevor? I'm sorry.
I was reading through some of the stuff, and they pointed out that there is some unique character greetings as part of this as well. So,
okay.
I'm curious what that'll amount to at Typhoon Lagoon, right?
Yeah.
Because I mean, there has been character meets there before, and I think they've done it for the past Moonlight Magic ones as well. We'll have to see. I hope you're able to get in, Damon.
Yeah, for sure. All right, so let's see what else we got here. Oh, BoardWalk news. All right, so the ice cream store that was there closed, which it was a really good ice cream place. And kind of sad that it's closed, but now it's being replaced with the BoardWalk Deli, which is a northeastern style deli with a menu that will include fresh deli sandwiches, fresh baked breads, and a selection of bakery items. I think this is the perfect thing for the BoardWalk, and I'm a sucker for a good like New York deli. So.
I agree. It just, the only problem, I mean, do I want to eat sandwiches
That's fair.
at Disney? That's the only question I have.
But I mean, this is good for like if you're staying at BoardWalk and you just need to grab like a quick lunch or something. I mean, it's not like a place I'd make a dining reservation for. It'd be like, oh, for dinner tonight we're gonna go hit up the deli. It'd be more of like just a lunch or something.
Mm-hmm.
I think it's perfect for the BoardWalk, and especially since that area is themed to like,
I look at the theming. It definitely makes sense. Yeah.
Makes perfect sense. And I mean, I'm looking at a nice cannoli right there, like in this picture, and these sandwiches look pretty stacked. I mean, if those sandwiches are going to be filled with that much meat and cheese and toppings and such, that's pretty great. I'm excited for this. I think this is a great idea.
So I will say you're talking about experiencing a New York style deli. I have no idea what that's like, because we don't have, I mean, we have delis around here, but they're not good, I guess, or I've never had anything good from a deli. So I don't know what I'm missing out on, I guess, is the problem with this.
I'm trying to like even think of like how I can describe like a New York deli, right? Like, cause I mean, it kind of is a catch-all term for a lot of things, but it's also like, but I mean, like a lot of it is known for like really filled sandwiches, right? Like a lot of meat in your sandwich, a lot of like a lot of random stuff too. Like you can get a sandwich there, you get, some meat, you can get some bread, you could get some pastries, it's like, I don't know. It's hard to describe.
Yeah. I mean, it definitely is. Just figure big sandwiches, lots of sides. You're gonna have all that and
everything made in house kind of thing.
Yes, yeah.
Okay,
yeah, something like that.
Yeah, I mean, you can Google New York style deli and you'll get like a bunch of different answers. But like,
I've seen like I've watched Food Network stuff in the past about New York delis and stuff, and like I said, I see it and I kind of understand. And I think maybe the thing we're missing here is that you talk about like a lot of in-house made stuff.
Yeah.
I guess every deli I've ever been to, it's not
like that.
Yeah, it's not in-house made, and you can tell. So.
Yeah. And I mean, if Disney's going to do this the right way and like make the bread in-house and like, slice the meat and like, really do it, make it like it's not a Subway, you know what I mean? Like that They're good.
Yes.
Yeah. I mean, that's what you want. You want them, slicing the meat behind you and putting it right on the sandwich. And, that's the kind of thing you want.
Yeah. That goes back to Damon's point. I'm not going to Disney to eat Subway.
Yeah.
I Googled New York Deli just to see what
Harold's?
No, well, yeah. So Harold's, we used to have a Harold's where I lived in my hometown. They had a location in my town. Google Harold's, Trevor. That place is crazy. But there's a place by you in Cary called Mookie's New York Deli that looks pretty good.
Cary's still not that close to me.
Not
I go there every day, but it is definitely not close.
But they got a good looking menu here, man. They got
hold on, I'm
looking
soup.
They got some
but see, we also have this place that's right by us. It's called it's in Lafayette Village.
Yeah.
And it's called, what is it? I have to look at it. The Butcher Place. But I just had sandwiches from there. So it's a butcher place that turned into, it's called Southern Craft Sandwiches. Look that place up.
Yeah. Okay.
But yeah, this Mookie's, is this a chain or is this
I don't know.
I'm looking at the daily menu.
It looks pretty good, man. You got some, matzo ball soup.
An Upper West Side egg roll with pastrami, coleslaw, and honey sriracha.
Ooh.
I don't mess with pastrami, but if there was a turkey pastrami version of that, I would be in.
Yeah. There's some good
matzo ball soup, loaded latke. I might mess with this place. The only problem is that there's the entrees. Yeah, Staten Island burger.
They have a dog menu too, Damon.
Wait, for dogs or hot dogs?
Yeah, specifically for dogs.
Okay.
That's such a weird thing to see on a menu, but I guess that's a thing, right? And they got karaoke night, Damon. You go to karaoke night.
Yeah, it doesn't seem like something I'd be doing. But I think I might mess with this. So what we've been doing a lot, because it is, like I said, a little bit further from us, but we're usually there for some event, is picking up food. But now my son drives. It's tough. I'm not going to be like, hey, go pick up this stuff for us. But I don't know. I might try it, though. This place looks good. I've now favorited it in my browser. So
I will say that they don't have pork roll or a Taylor ham here, which is just disappointing. But
yeah, that is true. That is.
I feel like you got to have, if you're going to be a legit New York deli, I feel like you got to have that. But that's just me. So
yeah, I could get on board with that.
All right. Anyway, but I could find a good Taylor ham / pork roll sandwich down here. In my area, but yeah. Anyway, anything else about that place? I'm
but now I closed down your what's it called?
You closed the rundown down?
I closed the rundown down. Now I'm lost. Now I might just have to leave now.
You just give up.
Okay. I might have to just give up.
All right. Well, Disney's rolling out a new feature to the My Disney Experience app called "Where's My Car," which is
like the movie.
Yeah,
Dude, where's my car?
Where's my car?
Mickey, they should have called it Mickey, Where's My Car? They missed an opportunity.
Yeah.
Mickey, where's my car? And I want to be able to ask my phone, be like, Mickey, where's my car? And then tell.
But doesn't Google already do this?
Yeah.
Okay.
You could do this in any map app, right? But not everybody knows that you can do that, right? So
okay.
I guess building this in here.
And it is in My Disney Experience, which keeps you in one space.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. That's the idea. So for if you haven't been able to tell, essentially this just builds a functionality into My Disney Experience where you can mark where your car is when you park in the parks. And this is for Disneyland and Disney World, so you can find it easily. Now, I don't know about you guys, but every time I fly and I park in a long-term parking lot, I can never find my car, even though I dropped a pin. So I always just walk around hitting the panic button until my car goes off. Does anybody else do that? Just me?
I have to say, not at the airport, but in other situations, yes, it has been something I've done.
I've done it at Disney too, actually.
I've never lost my car. Even after parking in a parking lot for a week,
that's impressive.
That is
I don't
impressive.
know. I guess I didn't realize how unusual that is, but
he's a
we
car
come back
savant.
For trips.
He's a parking savant.
It's just I have a thing for I don't get lost. I legitimately don't ever get lost because I always can figure out where I am. I always know where I am on a map. And even when we when we would, or when we go on our trips, we go to, we could go to the airport. I park in long-term parking. I'm like, yeah, we're on the 3rd floor. We're down the 2nd aisle and over here. And when we come back, I don't even think about it. Like, I'm just with my family, and we get in the elevator, we go up, and I just go straight to the car. Like, I don't, it's like I wasn't even gone for a week.
That is impressive.
So, I don't know. Yeah. I didn't think that was unusual. I didn't realize that, honestly, that people were like using their phone to mark where their cars are and stuff.
All right. So listen, there was some other food stuff out there, and I decided not to do a lot of food stuff because I know we're tired of food stuff. But
yeah.
I figured I had to put out the Dole. Really?
Yeah.
Because
Dole,
they skipped Hilton Head. Total disrespect. Number one.
What do you mean we? Because the Dole Whip things, they're not doing anything special. Yeah.
No, they skipped Hilton Head, which is totally disrespectful. And then it's the same stuff, man. Like, there's nothing in here that I haven't seen before.
Yeah, I mean, I'm just looking at it. Like, so this is to celebrate Dole Whip Day, which is
cool. I can get down with that.
Yeah,
July 21st.
Through 24th. Yeah. And 24th they're celebrating.
That's when the offer is. But yeah, apparently July 21st is actually Dole Whip Day.
And again, there should only be one day, and that should be it. There's no multiple days of this.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm just looking through here. I mean, this one that looks red on the bottom, is that the Fanta Strawberry? I would check that out.
But they've had that before. It's not like it's special. Like, give me something new. The only thing that I'm kind of down with is these cupcakes look kind of fire.
Let me see. I can scroll down.
There's a strawberry Dole Whip. I can't remember the last time I've seen that.
Yeah. Watermelon Dole Whip.
I had that already.
Yeah, but I don't feel like you see that all that often. You had that at Hilton Head, didn't you?
No, the terrible beach place.
The terrible beach place?
Vero?
Yeah.
Oh, that was a Vero. Okay.
Oh, man.
Just trying to make people mad.
Poor Vero.
Yeah.
Peach Bellini throwing the shade at Vero.
Yeah, well, I mean, they have the ones that are new listed.
Marked as new. Yeah, they are marking them as new, right? So there's very few and far between.
But that cupcake looks really good.
What, at Alani? Is that the one? Where is it at?
Contemporary.
Oh, yeah, that cupcake looks awesome. Yeah, that's a new one, too. Yellow cupcake cool. Filled with Dole Whip mousse and garnished with cherry. All right. Simple, but sounds kind of good. I mean, if it's pineapple, though, I'm kind of out. But
yeah.
I mean, I had the key lime swirl, which was all right.
Yeah, it's all right.
Yeah.
It's very tart, which you expect. But, yeah.
There wasn't enough graham crackers. I feel like it should have not just been sprinkled, but it should have like come with a graham cracker. Like, that would have been better.
Oh, see, I didn't even have graham crackers on mine. I just had
mine was sprinkled, but it gets lost because it is so tart. Like, I feel like a graham cracker itself would have been a little bit more.
I mean, and it isn't bad. Like, I went into getting a lime Dole Whip knowing.
Oh, I thought it was fine.
Yeah, I thought it was fine. Yeah. I like a swirl whenever I can have a swirl, right? Like, I think it would have been better if it was I think I just got straight key lime. I don't think it had the vanilla swirl in it, right? So the vanilla would have helped, I think.
It cuts it, yeah.
Yeah.
Speaking of Dole Whip swirl, just looking further down the list, I see that there's a mango, watermelon, and pineapple swirl in Disneyland at Tropical Hideaway. Mango is not one that I've seen before, and I actually think I would probably go for a mango Dole Whip.
Mango wouldn't be bad.
Yeah, I do like mango. Mango and pineapple is easy for me.
Yeah, see, like I could do mango or like watermelon, right? Like pineapple still is just not my favorite, but either one of those I would try. But Alani's got some interesting ones too. There's a churro pineapple Dole Whip. Okay, it basically just looks like a Dole Whip, and they stuck a churro in the top of it, right?
Yeah, that's like why. I don't feel that you need that. Like, that's just a bunch of cinnamon sugar in your Dole Whip.
Yeah, pretty much. There's a Dole Whip fresh fruit sundae with sprinkles and a waffle cone. I'm always up for a waffle cone.
That's cool.
That's different, I guess.
Yeah,
slightly. Not really, but
I appreciate that it's Stitch themed too. They got the blue sugar on the waffle cone and all, or the waffle bowl and all that.
Yeah. There's some cool things in here, but like you said, it's not a lot. It's mostly stuff that they've done before. But I mean, I guess how much can you really do with Dole Whip? Right?
Yeah, maybe just leave it alone and just accept that it's Dole Whip.
Yeah, just be happy with your Dole Whip. Okay.
Yeah.
All right, so that's all the stuff that's we got some Disneyland stuff, which I know we're going to lose Damon on, but it's that's most of our.
He's muted and typing furiously on something else, so that's fine.
Making lots of noise on mute.
Yeah.
All right, so Trevor, you want to read this first one?
Yeah, so Disneyland has, or we have a couple of shows ending at Disneyland. The Disneyland Forever Fireworks and Main Street Electrical Parade limited time runs end September 1st, which is actually coming up pretty quick. Yeah. It's
not that much longer. Now, those are always meant to be temporary, though, right? So, like,
yes.
Yeah, I think that those were easy for them to get back up while they were still working on World to Color and Fantasmic on getting those again. And now that those are back, they can retire the other two, you know?
Yeah.
It felt like just like a stand-in kind of thing, because you can never go wrong with the Electrical Light Parade, right? So,
yeah, and I hope that I hope this means there's room for Paint the Night coming back, which would be fantastic.
Well, or that new parade that they had that ran for like 2 weeks and shut down.
Right.
Magic Happens. That one was great. Magic Happens is a really good parade. I've only watched it on YouTube, but that was a really good parade. So it'd be great if that one came back. But I mean, I don't know if that one was I think that one was at Disneyland, and Paint the Night did they do at California Adventure, or was that in Disneyland too?
So originally it was in Disneyland, and then they moved it to California Adventure.
I mean, so theoretically they could do both. They could bring back both, but
yes, exactly. So yeah, and honestly, I'm fine with even if they didn't bring back Paint the Night, but it just did another nighttime parade on the same level. Because I'm not a big parade fan, but those nighttime parades like Electrical Parade and all that, those are something else. Like, I think Disney needs to keep doing that. And then, I guess they haven't really, or maybe I missed it, but they haven't really talked about what's next after Disneyland Forever. Because that's the fireworks show. Yeah.
I wonder if they're going to announce something soon around that. I mean,
because again, not a lot of time from now until September 1st.
Yeah. That's a good question. Like, what's the nighttime fireworks show going to be?
Yeah.
I don't know.
I feel like I'm noticing now, because we had Epcot Forever and Disneyland Forever. I feel like these are those, if you want to do an in-between show, you just slap Forever on it, right? Like,
yeah.
Like, if they don't know what to do at Magic Kingdom, we'll get like, Magic Kingdom Forever or something like that.
Yeah, exactly.
Seems easy.
It does. I also selfishly want the Main Street Electrical Parade to come back to Disney World. But I don't know if this means that or not. Like, I doubt it, but I would love for them to come back to having that at night at Magic Kingdom. I think Magic Kingdom could use the nighttime parade again. And that's like what I was saying is I don't think it needs to necessarily be Main Street Electrical Parade. I think just a nighttime parade, because the only nighttime parades we get in Florida are the holiday ones. So Boo to You and the Christmas party parade, right? Sure.
So
yeah. I want that back. I want it back. Ship it back over. Get it over here.
Yeah.
I mean, it is a little weird to me that they built all these new floats, right? Like for the end of the parade and redid everything, and then it's just going to end in September, and then it's just all that work is done,
But it's not, though, because I've seen them, like, they do reuse those floats.
Oh yeah, of course.
So I get the feeling, that float may, even though it looked like a new addition to the current parade, I wouldn't be surprised if those floats were actually more of a preview for the next parade.
Yeah, I could see that. Yeah. That'd be interesting. All right, so that's all I have for that. But I want to talk about these rumors.
Yeah, let's get into this first rumor, which is that the PeopleMover will return to Disneyland as part of the Tomorrowland overhaul.
So I want to mention that these rumors are coming from, listen, and I know a lot of people have mixed feelings about WDW News Today, right? Like, I know a lot of people don't like them and don't feel like they're very accurate and feel like they make stuff up. And that's fair, right? Like, they are right sometimes. They are, as much as that stinks to say, they aren't right sometimes. But listen, we're saying this is a rumor up front, and we just want to talk about rumors. We're interested in talking about this stuff. So we're not saying it's going to happen, but we do find it interesting to talk about.
Yeah.
Just want to give that disclaimer up front.
Of course. So let's talk about what they're proposing here. And this, so the idea is they're going to do this big reno to Tomorrowland, and this is obviously a good opportunity for them to go back and look at the PeopleMover, because unfortunately it got broken due to a lapse in judgment with rocket rods running on the track. And
a lapse in judgment is
yes.
a great way to describe it.
It absolutely was.
It's probably the most famous failure by Imagineering of all time, right? It's rocket rods.
Yeah, and because they didn't think about, hey, putting this kind of load, the speed and the load that they put on the track unfortunately damaged it. So that's why the PeopleMover has not been running this whole time. So the thinking is there's a big rental coming to Tomorrowland. They're going to have it shut down for an extended period. So this is the time to go and, fix or replace all those structures, which PeopleMover is a very large structure. And I don't think people realize exactly how large it is. It basically spans the entire Tomorrowland, and it covers multiple rides. So what they're proposing in this rumored renovation is that, or redoing of it, is that they would actually take out these sections of track over the Finding Nemo submarine voyage and the Utopia. So, no, just no, you don't like that. That's like taking out. Okay, so imagine if after Space Mountain, you have that whole section flipping over to Florida PeopleMover, that section when you come out after Space Mountain, and like it's still like a large section of the ride left where you kind of like go back around the other half of Tomorrowland, and you can see the castle and everything. Imagine if they took that whole section out and they just like ended, like the ride just went right back to the to the tower where you get on and get off, and like they just cut out a whole chunk of the ride like that.
I mean, but here's the question though: would you rather have a shorter ride that follows a different route, or no ride at all?
I would rather that, if they're going to be doing all these renos anyway, that they take the time to fix the track over top of these other attractions.
That's fair. Yeah.
Because I guess kind of my thinking is like I get, maybe it does make sense that, if they can't get out over top of those attractions, they'll just cut it off and shorten the ride. But then, like I said, it doesn't, that's kind of the whole allure of the PeopleMover, I think, is that, you're going out over these other rides, like you're seeing it's the same feeling as riding the monorail in Disneyland, because the monorail cuts right through Tomorrowland, goes around the Matterhorn and all that. Like I hope this isn't true. I hope this part is wrong. Like I hope that they are working on redoing the PeopleMover, but if they're cutting out a large chunk of the ride, I don't agree with that. And I know I don't have any say in it. It's just, I don't, I don't think that, I don't think that will feel very good.
I get that. Yeah. And I mean, that's what they're saying here. The track length will be reportedly much shorter than the original layout provided. The winding section standing above Autotopia and the Finding Nemo submarine are not expected to be used. Existing infrastructure will be heavily altered or removed due to changes in building codes and such. I know, like, the big rumor was, always over the past years, that part of the reason why they couldn't reopen it was because of ADA stuff. That's where they can't, they won't be able to evacuate people with disabilities and stuff like that. So that's something I think they need to obviously adapt to that. Listen, I mean, with money, they can fix all this stuff, right? Like if they can get the funds dedicated to it, they can rebuild all of it. I mean, they can make it compliant, right? So I don't know.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, there is definitely, the PeopleMover was built a long time ago and does not meet current safety codes by any means. So that's fine. I get that part. I just hope that there is a part of it where there can, and I get it may be hard. If, the pieces underneath Finding Nemo and stuff, I see where you could end up being in a position where you have to close down Autopia or the Finding Nemo submarine in order to do it. And, they may not want to do that. Part of the plan may be to leave those attractions open because they're closing down such a large amount of Tomorrowland that they don't want to have, that kind of in between space between Fantasyland and Tomorrowland shut down as well. So I get that, it may be a budgetary thing, but, to me, if this is what they're doing, it's kind of like you're ordering the PeopleMover off Wish.com.
I get it. Yeah. But I guess my feeling is like, I would rather have some form of it than none at all. That's just what I guess I feel like. But I also read too that like some of the inside track has already been removed. So like they'd have to rebuild anyway. Some of the stuff that's inside the buildings has just been removed altogether. So it's not even like a complete circuit anymore anyway.
Yeah. It's not like, again, there's we're not kidding ourselves here that this is not like, oh, it just needs a little bit of, paint and a few fix ups and it's good. No, it's a major project. Yeah.
It's
a substantial thing that, they are effectively building a new ride or rebuilding the ride again. And, like I said, I hope at least the idea that the PeopleMover is coming back is true. If it turns out it's not as big as it was, fine, I guess. I mean, sorry, I have ridden the PeopleMover. I remember as a very, very young child riding it, and there was something amazing about this ride that went over top of everything else. And
I get it. Yeah.
Kind of the same way that the original Skyliner was, right?
Sure.
And I mean, it's, I don't know, like I just hope that I hope that the rumor is, because they're talking about cutting off the the stuff over top of the other rides, maybe that's just somebody not getting all of their information straight, or maybe there's, maybe the alternative is not that they're just reusing the existing track. Maybe there will be new track.
Yeah. Maybe they're building a whole new layout.
Yeah.
Yeah. A whole new layout. Yeah.
Yeah. So,
I mean, I feel like they kind of have to, right? To meet the newer requirements, right? Like, I feel like they need to build some spots where like people can get out and stuff like that, right?
Well, yeah. I mean, if you look at the original track, like it's a big flat,
I'm actually looking at it right now. Yeah.
Yeah. And like, so it's actually the space in between the cars that, if they needed to use in the case of an evacuation, that's the space that needs to be big enough that they can get people out and all that kind of stuff.
Well, so I'm almost wondering though, like, so just looking at the map of this, right? So like, it goes around Buzz Lightyear over here, right? And then it goes by where the Finding Nemo submarine journey is. And then that's when it turns and goes over Autotopia and all the other like stuff that's out there. Maybe they're saying that it's just gonna, that curve where they make that left turn, they're just gonna modify the track to turn right there and then hook up with the other side of the track that goes the other way and just cut off that whole part. That's kind of what I'm envisioning that they're saying here. Is they're just going to cut off right there, and instead of making the left, they're going to make a right and come back around. That's what it seems like.
Yeah,
which is still a pretty decently long track, but I get what your point is. It's not nearly as long as it was before.
And it's not even so much about it being long. It's just the views. There's something about the visual. There's something about
I get it. I get it. I totally do. Yeah, I totally get what you're saying. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm not even fighting that point.
As a kid, yeah, like I can just imagine, like, I wish, it's sad that there's entire generations of kids at this point that don't even know what that looks like. Like it's like that. There was something that I saw when I was little, and it imprinted in my head as like, this is a very Disneyland thing. Like you wouldn't see this anywhere else. So yeah.
Well, I mean, and here's the question though too, is like, do you want them to update the way the cars look on that, or do you want it to look the same as it did? Like, do you want retro or do you want new as far as the look goes?
I think they need to not be the Florida type cars. Definitely. It's not the same type of ride. Also, I mean, for them to do that, they would actually have to, cover the entire track as well. Cause there's again, the whole track is exposed on the PeopleMover.
Sure.
I think what I would like to see is, keep some of the retro elements to it, but do something updated with it.
Yeah.
Like, and actually the more that I'm looking at these, like the PeopleMover cars aren't too far off of the Skyliner cars. Like I feel like they were done in the kind of the same aesthetic as
that same look.
The original Skyliner. So I think they need to be brought into whatever new Tomorrowland is going to look like. Like I think that's going to drive more the look of these vehicles than anything, or they should.
Yeah, we don't really know what that theme is going to. I mean, it's going to look like Tomorrowland, but there's a lot of versions of Tomorrowland. Like we don't know what it's really gonna look like, right? So, I mean, I think this is an interesting story because people have been asking this for years, and I think they would be smart to finally reopen this, right? Like that's definitely going to get people. Not that they need to get people back to the parks. I mean, the parks seem busier than ever, right? But
it would help Tomorrowland, is what it would do
for sure.
It's the PeopleMover is a people eater, so
yep.
Well,
and the one in Disney World just got a new kind of like retro-y narration. They just updated the narration there, and they went with like kind of a retro feel to that one. So yeah, it's interesting. And this article also notes too that this would be and who cares about this in my mind, but they were talking about how the original version was propelled by tires, and then the one in Magic Kingdom uses the electromagnetic kind of like conveyance system. They're saying this would just be a conveyance system off the shelf, which I don't really care about that because the one in Disney World breaks down far more than it should, right? Like it's probably they're looking at that and they're going, oh, well, why would we use that? That's an unreliable system that we can't get parts for or something. And, it probably would be easier for them to go with an off-the-shelf system. I'm not going to look at it and go, oh, because they don't have the same system at Disney World, I'm not going to go on it. Like I just find that funny that there would be purists about that. But
yeah, that's a weird fight to have about the PeopleMover, I guess. Like I guess, it's as long as it's, and I mean, for as much as the PeopleMover breaks down, it's also, I don't know. I think I've heard more about it breaking down, but again, I know my experience is anecdotal, but I feel that's still one of the more reliable rides in terms of, it's just always there. Right. And so whatever they do, as long as it's not, you'll have breakdowns. Like I think every ride has breakdowns.
Of course. Yeah. Of course.
They have stops for whatever reason.
Things are going to break. Yeah. Yeah.
I think as long as this is just something that's constantly going, or as much as possible, and a couple breakdowns throughout the day versus the ride being down for days at a time, as long as it's not that it's that unreliable. And actually, you're talking about them using an off-the-shelf ride system, like because we have the. Here's an interesting thought exercise. The PeopleMover, the cars are meant to look like a train, right? Like it's like it's broken up into sections. Would it? I wonder what this would look like if you turned it into an OmniMover.
That would be interesting. I mean, they could do that, I guess, right? But again, that would probably have to be covered up.
Why though?
I don't know. I mean, I don't know if the parts of those can be outside. I mean, every OmniMover ride I know of is inside, right?
Right. But I guess, the whole idea though, is that they're just, there is no, or I mean, there's a track, but it's not like the individual cars. Don't need to, you don't have to worry about, this car broke down along the way. It's just, they're just always there. Right. And they're always,
you could do that. You could do that. I just think it's more of they're doing that because, listen, the system they use for the one in Tomorrowland at Disney World is they probably can't find parts for that anymore, right? Like it's so old that they probably don't have a hard time getting replacement parts. So like, why not use a current system where they can easily get replacement parts and keep it reliable and not have an issue with, sourcing that kind of stuff, make it something they can easily source, as opposed to, some of this stuff, it gets so old and then there's no more replacement parts for them. And then they have to start making their own stuff, or, but I know that they, there was talk that for the, Primeval Whirl, that ride wasn't being built anymore and there were no more replacement parts, so they were like literally buying ones that weren't being used anymore and to scrap for parts. Like, you don't want to be in that kind of position, right? Like, but you want to be able to get parts easily. Yeah, but
that's also a reason to not use an off-the-shelf system, though.
Well, because eventually,
yeah, exactly, because that's what happened with Primeval Whirl, was that they bought a roller coaster from a company, off the shelf. And like you said, what happened was the company went out of business. The company went out of business. Parts. Yeah. And they, eventually they couldn't maintain the ride anymore. Whereas, that's why I was talking about the OmniMover type system, because that is a Disney system.
Yeah.
It is something that they have their own machine shops. They do their own stuff for it, which I feel like, Disney building something themselves that they can maintain and manufacture the parts themselves is far more sustainable. Even it's long-term more sustainable than buying something off the shelf. Cause I know off the shelf always looks cheaper because it's, hey, you can get the parts cheaper and, somebody else is manufacturing them. And I know Disney sometimes likes the idea of just outsourcing that stuff. They don't want to think about it. But when, rides are usually talked about in the scope of, is this thing going to run for 40, 50 years potentially, right? Like,
yeah.
I mean, certain rides, not all rides, but, if a ride's going to run for that long, you're kind of banking on, is this company going to be in business in 40 or 50 years?
Yeah, but if you're buying it from Boeing or something, or Siemens, you know what I mean? Like, that they're still going to be able to get you those parts, like... I mean, I don't know. I know what you're saying, though. I know what you're saying. Yeah. I get what you're saying. I just think that they're probably wanting to make, do something a little simpler. But interestingly enough, looking at the track where it goes, I feel like this other rumor is also kind of part of this, right?
Yeah, actually, you're right. I think these two kind of play into one another. So do you want to take this one?
You can read it. You can read it.
So the second rumor is that the Star Wars launch bay / carousel theater is to be demolished and replaced by a seating area in Tomorrowland. A seating area. Wow.
Well, I mean, this says, and listen, I'm not the Disneyland person, right? But this, just reading this article and them saying, that there is a lack of seating in that area for the quick serve restaurants that are there, and so that this would fill a need for that. I mean, okay, but it also just doesn't sound fun and exciting to say, hey, we're going to tear down a building and just put in seating.
Yeah, and that where it sits, like, so there's the pizza place nearby, and then there's yeah, I mean, there is seating for both of the quick service places in Tomorrowland. The launch bay is kind of off in another corner. Like, so saying it's going to be turned into another seating area, that does seem like a pretty big waste of space, in my opinion. Yeah. And also considering the fact that, I mean, this building, it's a 2-story building that they were utilizing as the launch bay. And originally it was, I think, or
it's been previously, a lot of things.
it was America Sings before this. And then, they'd done a bunch of things, but the last big thing it was America Sings, which is, same as Carousel of Progress. It was, the rotating theater and all that. And then, that's actually when they built Splash Mountain, they stole all the animatronics from there to make Splash Mountain. The thing is that, yeah, it's a big space. I mean, I guess I could see if maybe they were going to take the quick serve locations and collapse them into a single building and then make this the building with seating area, kind of like Connections Cafe. Like that's what I'm thinking in my head. Okay. Is like you and I walked around that, and like I could see something like that for this space. but just saying it's going to be a seating area, I don't know. I feel Disney has much more in store for it. And, again, this is a rumor. So I think they may have caught on to one part of it, and they're not seeing a bigger picture as to what the actual intent is for this building.
Yeah, they caught the beginning part where it's demolished, but what's going to be there afterwards, right?
Yeah.
I mean, that's essentially what they did to Primeval World, right? They demolished it and turned it into a seating area, basically. So, I mean, but there's not even a lot of places to eat around there. It's just I know there's a stroller parking over there and stuff like that, but yeah, I mean, this is a pretty large building. I mean, there could be more to this than we know, though, too, Trevor, right? It could be a situation where the building is deteriorating and it doesn't make sense to keep maintaining it. Maybe when need so much work that it doesn't make sense for them to keep it. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I think that does stem from this fact that it is that rotating theater building. Yeah. I think that's the bigger thing, is that the configuration of the building right now doesn't make sense for anything that they want to do. And yeah, it may be that they tear it down and part of it becomes a seating area just in the interim. Because you're right. Disney does that is, if they tear something down, sometimes they'll just turn it into, just seating space or a actually kind of like what Launch Bay was, where, is just a place where they can preview stuff or whatever. But I get the feeling that, again, that, part of the larger redo of Tomorrowland, that's the opportunity to do something with this space if they're going to do it.
Yeah.
So
And interestingly enough, the PeopleMover track goes through this building, right? So the existing track goes through this building. So they would need to, obviously if they're going to do that, they're going to have to build new track, right? They can't just, if they're going to redo the PeopleMover, they'd have to build this new track to connect again, because it does go around the building basically.
Yeah. So
unless they just tear the building down around the track and just leave the existing track in there. But
yeah, I mean, you could definitely still maintain. I'm sure that PeopleMover structure is probably still there. They could, like you said, build it up to keep that intact. But again, there's already going to be a major overhaul to the PeopleMover anyway. So it's kind of, like I said, the big overhaul of Tomorrowland is, it's kind of, you're killing multiple birds with one stone.
Yeah, absolutely.
But like I said, I think the idea of it becoming a seating area, this rumor feels very short-sighted to me.
Yeah.
In the short term, I can see them, saying, oh, this is just a seating area, or at least part of it is. I actually, the same kind of thing happened with, what's the name of the restaurant now? Tropical Hideaway in Disneyland. Same thing. That was previously, there was an Aladdin show back there. And when they stopped running the show, they just turned it into a seating area, and they turned it into or at one point you could actually get or we did this ourselves, where you'd buy a lunch, and then you would get priority seating for one of the evening parades.
Okay.
But where you got the lunch from was actually across the path from where Tropical Highway was. There wasn't anything else there. It's just you go somewhere else, get your food, and then walk way over. And it was just a random seating area. But again, that made sense because they weren't doing anything else with it at the time. But that was also, that didn't last for very long, because they eventually renovated it and turned it into Tropical Hideaway. I think this is the same thing, as we're only hearing the first part of what this is. We're not knowing this is a big space. There has to be a bigger intent for it, other than we're just going to have a seating area. Well,
and I also very much believe that we will, they will have announcements there at D23 about I'm guessing they're going to announce the e-ticket attraction for Avengers Campus, because that's been sitting there kind of on hold. They sort of announced it, but they didn't really give details. So, I mean, that's something I think they're going to talk about. I mean, it seems like there's going to be a lot of Disneyland stuff, but I mean, I think they're still going to announce a lot of Disney World stuff at D23 too. So, guess we'll have to wait and see. But
yeah, I get the feeling that there's going to be a big focus on Disneyland for the next little while, because there's this kind of stuff, and then there's we've seen the plan for them expanding the park past the Disneyland Hotel and downtown Disney and all that. So I think that's going to be, we talk about what's next. I think a lot of it's going to be West Coast for a little while. Maybe I would expect maybe 1 or 2 projects for Florida being announced.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. It really just depends on how much they're willing to put back in the parks, right? Like I know there's been a lot of talk about like, Universal's new park opening up, and I honestly don't think that they're like focused on being like, oh, well, they're going to do that, we're going to do this. Like I just don't.
Yeah, it's not eye for an eye.
No, because I think in their minds, like they're like, we have different audiences, number one, but like there's overlap between the two, and the more people that are coming to Orlando, the better for both of us, right? Like I think both of their feelings have been that for a while, and is the more people that come to Orlando, the better for both of us. So I don't think they're going to be like, oh, we need to announce a new park because they're doing a new park. Like I just don't think that that's how they're thinking.
Here's also an interesting thought exercise around that. Disney may be letting the hype around Universal build up, because trying to compete at launch day on things is a bad idea, because you're never going to get the majority of the audience. So it's kind of a waste of time, because if you've got 2 very strong things competing against one another, you maybe get a 50-50 split, and neither are as good as they could be. Whereas I get the feeling that Disney is kind of going, well, let's put, more focus back into Disneyland right now, because Disneyland does need some love. It does, like the PeopleMover and stuff like that. It's been long overdue. So put their effort there, let all this stuff at Universal play out over the next couple of years in Florida. Then once the initial hype dies down, all of a sudden Disney comes in from behind and takes Universal's share, because they now have the next thing that, people lose the attention span switches, right?
Sure.
Once all the anticipation, everything of whatever Universal is doing dies, Disney is right there with, hey, I've got the next bright thing, and people come back to Disney even harder. Right.
But I don't even think that, like, I know what you're saying, and I don't disagree with you. I just think, like, even when they open that land, like, I don't think that's going to dent Disney's attendance at all. I think it's just going to, because like Wizarding World opened, right? And that was huge for Universal, but it didn't really hurt Disney's attendance. Attendance kept rising, essentially, right? Like, it just brought more people to the area, right? So like, I just think that I don't think it's going to like drop Disney's attendance or anything. I think it's just going to bring up Universal's share a little bit. They're going to get a little bit more of, more people coming, obviously. And then, but that's not a bad thing for Disney or SeaWorld or Legoland or anything that's in the area,
Yeah. And it's, if you want to get into talking about like, sustainability and growth and stuff like that, Disney wants to be sustainable. They don't necessarily want it, like, there is the new attractions. There are, booms and stuff like that they do want, but they also, they don't, if they do too many things too fast, it can actually swing hard the other way.
That's true too. Yeah.
Where things, I think Disney kind of likes having a bit of a lull in between, because it reinvigorates people to come back to the park, because if they're always like pulling something new, like every year, you kind of get overloaded with it. Yeah. And get to a point where like, okay, I'm done. Like, I don't want to do this. Honestly, it's kind of the same problem. Like I've talked about with Star Wars is, too much of a good thing is not always a good thing. So
yeah, that's how my wife feels about the Marvel stuff, right? Like, there was so much Marvel stuff, and like, she just got burnt out, right? Like, she told me, she's like, I got burned out of Marvel stuff. Like, it was too much. And we got burned out of Star Wars stuff. Like, we haven't watched the last 2 Star Wars series. Like, just, we got kind of burnt out of it, right? And like, you're totally right about that, right? Like, they try to do things in like phases to like, instead of having like one big hype with a huge drop off afterward, it's like, oh, excitement. And then it kind of gradually goes down, and oh, here's another excitement. Like, you know what I mean? It just, they kind of try to keep it consistent. Right. So, but I don't think that they really view Universal's new park as a negative, right? Like, I don't think they view it as like a competitive thing. I think they don't really care. I think they've got their audience, and like, I don't think people are going to abandon them because Universal opened a new park. It might take some days away from them here and there, but yeah.
I think Disney has, come to realize that, like you said, people are not going to abandon them for Universal. If people are going to abandon Disney, it's because they're going to abandon Disney.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's not no amount of, but we got something better than Universal, don't go over to them. It honestly, it honestly hurts their brand to play that game.
Yeah.
Because it's, it puts them on, it creates a perception that they're worried about what Universal's doing, which, like you said, really Disney should not be. And I don't think they are worried about what Universal's doing, because, it's still Disney at the end of the day.
Well, yeah, because I mean, even like, is this new park going to be more successful than what Harry Potter did? I don't know. Right. Maybe. But even with Harry Potter, like, Universal's busiest park, it still has less attendance than Disney's least busiest park. So it's like, are they really scared of that? I don't know. I really don't know. I mean, I think it certainly will, probably take some days away from them. But I mean, as we've seen here, like, if there's people that are going elsewhere, there's more people to fill the gap, right? Like, you're just bringing in new generations of people. Like, and I mean, if they were really hard up for attendance right now, they'd start offering annual passes again. I mean, and they're not. They did for one day because there was like a glitch, and we didn't even talk about that. But anyway, we should wrap this up, Trevor. I think we're at the end here. So
yeah, we are.
I think we talked about these rumors, but it's interesting.
Sorry. Yeah. One last thought on Universal. I think you're underestimating how popular Nintendo is.
No, I'm not. I mean, is it? I think it is popular. I just don't. I'm not saying it's going to like. I don't know. I just don't know if it's going to make their attendance be, through the roof like that. Like, I know it's popular. I don't know. We're going to see.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, well, we'll see. Anyway, let's wrap this up. So as usual, if you guys want to get a hold of us, you can always find us at welcomehomepodcast@gmail.com. We love getting your listener questions through there. We love you guys sharing stuff with us. So keep that coming. And you can also follow us on various social media platforms. Facebook is Welcome Home Podcast as well. You can also check out our Facebook group, Welcome Home Disney Waitlist. You can follow our YouTube channel and Instagram. YouTube is Welcome Home Podcast. Instagram is Welcome Home Pics. Great places to stay in touch as we do trip reports and stuff like that. And if you want to help support the podcast, consider going to store.welcomehomepodcast.com and checking out some of our merchandise there. Just small teaser again about the shirt, as we're getting further down the line with it here. We will have an announcement when the shirt is available in the store, and we're going to do this like we did the last time, where it will have a limited run. So if you really want a shirt, keep an eye on the store, keep an eye on our announcements, because we think it's looking really cool, and we're excited to share it with you guys. So
I think we're excited to see the final version of it too. So.
We haven't even gotten to finals yet, but it's like I said at the beginning of the podcast, you guys may get bits and pieces on Discord, but I think that's going to be about it. And speaking of Discord, you can access the Discord if you subscribe to us through Patreon. So make sure you guys go to patreon.com/welcomehomepod and check out the different levels we have there for that. Those also have some exclusive merchandise that you can only get on Patreon, and has a different logo than is on our normal merchandise. So again, a couple of ways to help support the podcast. And like we've said before, all that stuff just goes back into helping us continue to make the podcast and continue to do fun stuff like shirt releases and meetups and stuff like that. So, please consider supporting the podcast. Last but not least, the other thing that helps support us is if you're listening on iTunes or Spotify, leave us a 5-star review so that other people can find the podcast. And if you're on iTunes, leave us a review. And speaking of reviews, do you got one for this week, Tom?
Oh man, as you were reading that, I was like, oh no, I didn't pick a review of the week. Oh no. Let me pick one really quick here, but it's probably one I read already though. So, let's see. How about from Nick G, We got informative and entertaining DVC and Disney podcasts. Listen to this podcast if you're listening for entertaining and informative content about DVC and Disney World. I really love the three podcasts, that the podcast has three hosts who usually have different opinions on the topics covered. This creates a good discussion with different perspectives. Look forward to listening to this podcast every Monday. I like that one. That's good.
Very nice.
Yeah. Did I ever read this from Swim Girl 244? I don't think I read this one because I like this one.
Doesn't sound familiar.
So it's just called Stars. Okay.
Okay.
So for anyone who listens to the show, 1 star for Damon. He's an amazing family man and will put his kids before everything in life. And if I can be half the parent he is, I will have succeeded. In parentheses, she writes, I would give him more stars, but Damon only likes the 1-star reviews. so she likes Damon. That's her way of giving Damon a 5-star. So 5 stars for Tom so he can feel good about himself. Thank you. Although please seek worth with Disney trips or for your daughter or wife. I don't know what she means by that, but strangers on the internet mean nothing and will destroy you as soon as they build you up. And 5 stars for Trevor. Gotta give the northernmost contributor his dues. It keeps everything real and slowly tries to find the tracks when the train is derailed with humor and insight. Look, that's good. I like that.
Yeah.
Also willing to help out with lots of things. He's able to see how his life is between his co-hosts and appreciates Damon for how it will be and for Tom for how it was. It's like very poetically written, Swim Girl. I like it. So please leave us a review. If you do, we might read it on the show. So appreciate anybody that writes those. And of course, also don't forget to subscribe to Welcome Home Podcast so you can be reminded every time we release a new episode. You can find us at Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Amazon Music, TuneIn, Stitcher, Spotify, just about any podcast app out there. You can find us. Just search for Welcome Home. Look for the one that's Disney DVC. Just a reminder to our listeners, Welcome Home Podcast is for entertainment only. We are not employed by the Walt Disney Company, and as such, all opinions we express on the show are our own. So please consult a DVC representative, Disney cast member for more information about anything we talked about today. Huge thank you to our sponsors, as always, DVC Resale Market, World of DVC, for sponsoring this episode and sponsoring this show. They have been a long-time supporter, so please check them out if you need to do anything with DVC. Join us next time for more Disney Parks discussion. Of course, more DVC talk. We hope to see you all real soon.
This is Skipper Albert Awol, the voice of the jungle, signing off from Welcome Home Podcast on the DVC.
Do a huddle when we hit its hair. How she can cuddle is no man's affair.